Hey, welcome back to another episode of Drive Marketing. Corey and I have the pleasure tonight to sit with Brent Tolle, owner and operator of Tolle Show Cattle at Taylorville, Kentucky. Brent, good to have you tonight.
Good to be here, Brett.
Absolutely. You no stranger to the stock business by any means. A guy that you're known to make a lot of miles, see a lot of cattle, and you understand quality. Nice to have you on here tonight. Tell us just a little bit about Toll Show Cattle and just how you operate out here in Kentucky.
Well, first of all, I want to thank both of you guys for doing this forum. It's been a dream of mine my whole life to have cattle. Kind of came up where I was. My family was in the car business. We had a farm. I lived right next door to Chan Phillips and Rockin' P. Probably 5 miles down the road is Charlie Boyd Beef Cattle, Stonegate Angus. When you grow up with those guys, that are older than you, and you live in the same county and you compete against them, you learn real quick that you either get better or you quit. And one thing my dad taught me a long time ago, I just don't have any quit in me. I'm not going to allow that to be. And so we all chose our separate paths. Of course, Chan went Simmental, Charlie went Angus, and where was Brent going to go? Because I was kind of raised in the Angus business, and naturally that led towards steers. I live right there against Southern Ohio and Kentucky, so one of the biggest steer markets in the country outside of South Dakota, and kind of started there. Had a couple of steer sales with a couple guys, and had a lot of success. Moved to North Carolina, got married. That didn't work out. Worked for Dale Earnhardt over there and Richard Childress with Charlie for a while, and
That's something I did not know.
Yeah, a lot of great stories there that you take a Kentucky kid that doesn't know anything about NASCAR at that point in time, and you put him with probably arguably one of the greatest drivers in the history of NASCAR, and just a great relationship because he used to laugh because I thought he just went in a circle for a living. He thought I brushed cows for a living. So, I was not starstruck at all until he died. And then I learned who he was. But young and dumb. But after that, I'll be honest with you, Brett, I fell in love with the man Andrew breed. I always have. I was forced to, Corey would tell you, when Taylor came along in my second marriage, we started showing cattle. Corey Thompson was a big part of me. I trusted his eyes. I went, one of the heifers he bought was one first Fox's first sales was Waverly, which ended up being reserved No, she won Louisville. Actually, she beat your heifer, Brett.
I hadn't forgot. Thanks for reminding me.
That's one of the first times I ever met you, but that's kind of how it all started with Taylor. I just made a decision we were going to show cattle. Her first show heifer was Aunt B. If you guys remember that with Mark Sneed. We were blessed. We just had a tremendous amount of success, and I think with me, I've been lucky because I think God gives us all gifts, and it's up to us to figure out what those gifts are and not to second guess them. And I've been blessed to be around some awful great people like both of you and Chan and Charlie. I give them a lot of credit. They taught me, and that's kind of how it all started. And with Taylor, we had to sell those show heifers. Everybody said, "Why didn't you keep them?" I just didn't have the money. We had to, Corey will tell you, we had to buy those things, and I believe in paying for them when we bought them. And we bred them, we showed them, we made them popular, and then we sold them. And then as it kept going, I finally got a little smart and started holding back flushes on them. And that's kind of where I'm at today is, we hold back. Why can I sell those heifer calves? Well, I'm holding back flushes on all of them. And we can talk about that when we get into the marketing part of our program, because one of those heifers at Timmy's is actually because of a flush I held back to be able to put in the sale the very next year. So that's how we came to be, or how Tolle Show Cattle came to be. And I give Taylor a lot of credit for that, my daughter. She let me live my dream through her. It was probably never a huge passion for her, and I'm not going to encourage parents one way or another that listen to pushed her kids into whatever. I think she thoroughly enjoyed it. She misses it now. She's a nurse practitioner and an ER and doing great. But all the lessons she learned here, from pulling calves to life, death, to breeding, she does every day. So it's one of the greatest programs to raise a kid in there is.
Oh, no doubt about it. Hey, one thing I learned from you, Tolle, and you're a big believer in, you don't dive deep into one unless they're backed by a cow family that's proven.
That's exactly right. That's a Charlie Boyd Chan Phillips drilled in my head so deep it's not even funny. It all goes back to the cow. I've been blessed, if you want to go on into that, to own that 1369 cow, which is the mother of, it led to everything. Barry was gracious enough when he decided to get out of the Angus business. That's Barry Nowatzki, to give me
out of the main and Jew business, you mean?
Yeah. Yes, I'm sorry, out of the man and Jew. He was getting into the Angus business to give me a call. And that's when I bought 1369. I just looked at my phone. I still had the original picture when she was a calf. It was November 9th of 2016. And that's when I bought her, right after a tough time in my life. As you guys know, I went through a divorce. And when you go through a divorce, not to get into all that, but you got to start over. And she started it over. She was the first one I bought. Right after that, came all the progeny. We flushed her. She never did really that good in the show ring. You just knew she was the cow that you wanted to pattern stuff after. She had that daddy's money flush. I was blessed to have him. And that led to that heifer that Timmy was talking about there a minute ago that won Louisville 2 years ago. And then we held flushes back on her, and that's led to another heifer that's in Timmy's sale this year by Endgame, which is another bull we got. It's just all went back to her. And you take that even back a step further, a lot of man and Jew people, if they ever saw her, and I know you two guys did, but the O2 cow, some people call her 2T, the original whiskey that Barry had. She was way before her time. She was huge belly. She was flatter made, maybe not as sexy as a lot of them, but I just remember all that capacity, all that depth. And, when I saw Maine cattle back then, they just didn't have the body that these other cattle had. And being raised with Charlie and Chan, if you don't have body in cows, you have nothing. So I just thought, boy, what a way to base it if I can get her bought. And actually, I owned half of O2, if you will, in the latter part of her life, and was able to flush her to daddy's money a couple of times. We got 2 bulls. Both are PHA positive, but I kept them. And then we got 1 female that actually topped the Holiday Classic last year that Brandon Bird bought. And I held flushes back on her. So that started it all. That led to Data Bank. That led to OG that we'll talk about later, our new promotional bull. That 1 cow.
Yeah, see, I think you've tricked the system just a little bit, Tolle. My granddad told me growing up, if you're really lucky, you'll have 1 good wife, 1 dog, and 1 good horse. You've had multiples of the cow business.
The wild.
So, I won't get into all the other stuff here, but I'll tell you, you've tricked system in terms of having multiples of something good. Talk to us. This 1369 cow that you've hit on here, this is an incredible cow. I think, it just, for what you've been able to do with her, she's incredible.
She is, like I said, we last year we sold, a 40 and a 30 out of her and a 20. So, I can't sell them like some of these guys, but for a country boy in Kentucky, that's damn high, I think. And those cattle have all done good. And I kept back the bull that everybody was wanting, which was OG. OG was a sex heifer pregnancy, and he came as a bull. And boy, was I glad when I drove down to the ET center, because when they told me I had a bull, I was like, you have got to be kidding me. And that guy said, you're not going to be upset when you see this bull. And we're not upset at all. As a matter of fact, when we get into talking about the bulls, that'll be our promotional bull that we'll bring out this year. And another thing about 1369, as well as Data Bank, was calving ease. That's something that, I get it when people look at our cattle, whether it's Data Bank cattle or whether anything out of 13. We don't have all the performance and the big bone and the high powered muscle. We just don't. I chose to go a different route. I saw the whiskey bloodlines. I saw the Garth bloodlines, particularly working with Griswold. And I thought, boy, you can't hit those cattle with more power. You hit them with more power and you're going too far. I wanted to find a bull, if any way possible, that could keep that power, just soften them up a tick, but more importantly, get that structure right and clean those joints up and just smooth them out. And that's what this guy did. Data Bank was a blessing. Again, I know it's going to sound corny to somebody out there, but I'm a big God guy. And I just don't doubt the talent that he gave me and where he puts me in positions. That bull right there was basically 2 hours away from getting his head cut off when I seen him. And, he had been sent to Brack Briscoe's. He was young. He was in April. He wasn't going to make the cut. And talk about cow family, Corey. I happened to look at his ear tag. I loved him, but I looked at his ear tag because he was so young. And I saw Sooner 02 on the bottom side. I saw X2 Sooner 02. And I went, that's that cow that beat me at Junior National that Oliver had. And I picked up the phone and called Barry. And he goes, hey, he's a little squirrely. But he said, that's Al, that cow you love so much. I just turned around and bought him right before he was fixing to get on the truck and get his head knocked off. And there's a life lesson to be learned in that, not to get to preaching, but sometimes you just got to give people as well as a bull a chance.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Reach back and give them a chance.
And since then, he's gone ahead and sold. I mean, he'd be a top 5 bull in the maintenance you breed in terms of semen sales, number of units put in cows, bar none.
Oh, he's been a blessing. There's no doubt about it. And I mean, I'm the first one to tell you he's exceeded every expectation that I ever had for him. Anybody that could say that they could pull one out of a feedlot and clean him up, and he just did those kind of things. I think you were one of the first people to see him after Fox bought half of him. And, it was one of those deals. You knew he had the parts. And actually, Data Bank is as docile of an older bull as there is.
But you could scratch him in the pen, but the first time I looked at him, he was dang sure a little people shy. There's no doubt.
I mean, we were going to show him the year Epic came out, and I thought, well, we're going to bring this dude out, and it was just me and him in my barn forever. And my nephew came out one day, and boy, he got upset seeing another person. And when you're holding a 1,600 pounder and he's upset, I said, it's time to go. And I knew Fox had been bugging me for him. And I just called Fox and I said, you can buy half of him, but you got to agree that you'll never show him.
Mm-hmm.
He said, why? And I said, you just can't trust him. Well, I mean, he's the most trustworthy bull there is. It's just he don't like the bullshit of being a show bull. I mean, he just don't.
He I'm a little bit with Corey. The first time I saw him was as a mature bull, and I mean, he's super impressive out there at Fox's. So, and he's written his own book here as of late. There's no doubt about that.
And we're maternal based. I think that goes back to that cow family deal. That's just how. I mean, even though I've got some steer blood in me, I'm just a maternal guy. I like them flatter made. I like them super sexy and super sound when it comes to females. And I like cattle with body and that can milk. And let's face it, that's something that the Mananju breed needed. And I pray and hope that whether it was daddy's money, I think those daughters are proven out. This guy right here, milk's a big thing. I don't think we look at it enough in the show ring with these cattle. It's something you can predict somewhat, but you got to give them a chance to see what we're going to get out of them. And this guy, I think, is going to write a good book when it comes to maternal in these games.
Yeah, so far the ones I have seen have been really small teated and had some undersized and
Yep.
look like they're going to make good mama cows, no doubt about it.
Yes, sir.
Hey, another one of these donors. You talk about cow families. This 34B cow that actually John Sullivan buys from Jones's, and then you bought her back when John offered her there. Was that in Oklahoma City a couple years ago, or what sale was that in?
Iowa. It was in Iowa. Humpy
Iowa.
sale.
Donors on ice in Iowa there.
Yeah.
But she's a direct daddy's money daughter, directly out of the Lucky Lady donor cow. There's a time that I was the Lucky Lady collector. I mean, that's a when you talk about cow families in the main breed, that she was a fear this donor that Jones's had, boy, that just built that program, no doubt about it.
And she was the best one. A perfect example again. You got to be ready for them. Money's part of this thing. I couldn't buy it. That was my favorite show heifer of all time when she sold at Jones's as a baby. And I don't know what she brought. It was a ton, 75 or 80,000 back when she was a calf. And I remember her winning in Denver and standing there thinking, golly, man, that's the one. That's how I want to build them. I want that thing, but I just don't have that kind of money. I'd been to Sullivan's a couple times. I'd bug Josh. I'd bug John, because I just didn't think they were utilizing her. That's not Angie wasn't a priority there. And finally, he put her up for sale, and he called me. And I just thought, if there's ever a time we're gonna go after one, it's now. And I just got lucky. Troy called me, and he said, I know you love that one. What are you going to do? And I said, I'm going to buy her if I can. And he said, well, we're going to buy her. And when Randy Jones says we're going to buy her, it's going to be we're going to buy her. It's not going to be Brent's going to outbid Randy Jones. So that's just what we did. And there's no finer people in the business that you could own a cow with than them guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And that cow's worked already. You've already had some offspring out of this thing that's went to work, haven't you?
Yeah, her first her natural last year bought 56,000 in Troy sale, did decent in Ohio, won a couple of jackpots. I think I don't know if she won her class at Junior National or not. I know those folks did a really good job with her. It was an end game out of her. So we've got a lot. I was just looking at my ET list there a minute ago. We probably got here in Kentucky at least 8 or 9 pregnancies on the way out of her by 2 or 3 different bulls. We did her data bank. We did her end game again. And I'm sorry, I don't have all of them in front of me. He did her to Garth.
Okay.
So anxious to get those purebreds high mains on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Good deal. Hey, talk us about Cal 16B, a driving I-80 back out of the wisdom cow that we referred to, Coinny.
Again, couldn't afford her as a baby. I remember seeing her at Goats. Tony just bought her for Skiles. It was one of those deals. I've always wanted a Winnie. Again, cow family. You saw the Lucky Lady. Now you see the Winnie. When she went up for sale at John's in the Skiles dispersal, I just made a decision that that's one that I needed to own. A gentleman here in Kentucky, Randall Arnett, owns her with me, and we've got several pregnancies of her on the way for next year. I had to do something. I wanted 3 or 4 big time cow families. Of course, 1369 was going great, and I would base everything on that cow because she's fed me well and she's done great for the industry. But she dies at 6 years old unexpectedly out in the field. I mean, just dead, no reason. And I'm just glad I had backup coming with these other cows, to have 2 like that right there. And there's another one we don't have a picture of that I bought from Wade that a lot of people had heard of. And that was that 1450 Lolo cow, that hard whiskey heat wave that the Core family showed and won a bunch with. I bought her. Yeah. I bought her out of Wade's sale. A lot of people didn't know that. So Greg Sharp and I actually own her together, and Greg's fleshing her for steers and I'm fleshing for high mains.
Right. Awesome. Heck of a deal there. The driving 80s, I've seen just a few of those as of late. I don't think that bull was probably heavy utilized as maybe what we're finding today. Those cattle are popping up and they're good.
Well, oh, absolutely. I think if Brian would even tell you that, nothing against I-80. I mean, that bull I-80 wrote the book, but
Right.
driving 80 is a better legged bull for what I like in my females. And Mike Hartman told me something, and Corey knows I'll give praise where praise is due. Mike Hartman told me when I first got into the main deal, he said, now that Energizer deal, he said, you got to double it up. He said, don't be afraid to double it up. Well, guess what? There sits one right there in front of you that's doubled up. If you trace it all the way back, you got Energizer doubled up quite a few times in there. And he said that would bring the power out in those Energizer cattle.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's got a double shot of I-80 in her, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then back to the great wisdom. And
yeah,
I just love those cow families. I mean, it's just drilled in my head that Winnie. I actually got to judge Winnie at several jackpot shows when the Street Matter boys were showing her with goat, and boy, that was one you just sat back and you looked at way before her time.
Yep. Hey, we've talked about these great cows. What about we just get into the bulls here a little bit. We talked about Data Bank. Tell us a little bit about the story behind Daddy's Money.
Well, that's Maverick. Daddy's Money was just one of those deals where, again, I will say a God thing. I was sleeping. I'd called Craig Ryder. I'd called Troy Jones. I'd called Dave Geyer, not to throw them all under the bus, and ask if there was anything at the Ohio Beef Expo. And everybody said, oh, there's a couple nice ones. Nothing great. I couldn't sleep that night for some reason. And I just told my wife at the time, I said, I'm going to Ohio Beef Expo. I got up at 3 o'clock in the morning, drove up there, started walking through the barn. And I mean, you can call it what you want, but when you walk up there, if you've ever been to Ohio Beef Expo, and you know how crowded it is anyway. And I follow it when I get out of my car, I follow a bull all the way in. And it's, I don't know Mr. Pettigrew, and he's leading the bull. And I thought, boy, that is one big footed sound sucker right there. And I didn't know if he was a semi, if he was a main, or what he was. And he leads him in the main stalls and ties him up. And that's when I met Pettigrew and started talking to him. And I went over to Troy, and Troy and I owned a bunch of heifers at the time. And I said, Troy, we got to buy that bull. He goes, really? And I said, yeah, we're going to buy that bull. And to be honest with you, to lay all the cards on the table, it was me and Troy, and you might know Booger Leonard family down Woodlawn Farms. Booger was there. Booger said, Tolle, I'll back you. And we were all afraid Phil Lautner was going to buy the bull, or Matt. And I said, boys, we're going to have $30,000 or $40,000 to buy this bull. And I'll make up I just told him, I'll make up the difference. I'm buying this bull. Well, I said, y'all let me handle it. And it's just one of those times I had to outsmart some people. And I went over to Beak, who I call Ryder's assistant in the back of the block. And I said, hey, that bull comes in, you just keep bidding, you buy that sucker. Don't ever look at me. And because I knew I loved Jakey to death and all them ring men, but I knew if I raised my hand once, it was going to go through the roof. And so I sit over there talking to Booger, and the bull goes in the ring, and Greg Meyer, that's Beak. The bull knocks off for 7,500. They drag him forever, and he finally knocks him off at 7,500. Booger goes, holy crap, we didn't get the bull. And I looked at Beak, and he had his thumb up in the air. And I said, yeah, we did. We got him. And there was a lot of people that doubted that calf. And it's just one of those things. Again, you had nurses' aides sitting there that Troy had owned, Jones's, and I knew that cow family. And bottom line is that dude was just that good for me. You can't find foot and bone like that bull had, and the structure that he had, and I knew it'd be fine. But again, with my cattle that we're bringing to market, a calving east situation, probably not all the power and performance that a lot of people in the Man Anjou breed were used to at the time. And I think that's part of the success we've been able to have is we don't bring all that power and everything. We're focused more towards the maternal side with structure and belly shape and look. And what we give up in power will make up in the maternal side of things.
Right. But I think that's what makes breeds balance up so nice. If everybody did the exact same thing, we'd all be the same tree. And I think
Yep.
that is great. I think it's really good that we're able to utilize each other's genetics and find those sweet spots, and it works. It's always been that way, per se. But no, I think it's a good deal.
Yep.
So you had Daddy's money, and then you had Data Bank, two of the highlight main bulls in the last decade, the main breed, and then you come with a bull called Endgame 2 years ago.
Yeah. I was at Troy Jones's, and Troy said, I got some bulls I want you to look at. And I actually had one of my friends with me, and we just went walking through there, and that dude walked by me, and I just said, that's him. Again, I'm not going to second guess whatever gift the good Lord gave me in the sense that he gave me. And that bull had a presence like no other main bull that I'd ever had or been around. He was just one of those that combined a lot of the things that the performance people would like. He's not a Cavanese bull whatsoever, so he was different for me, and I was looking for something different to add a little punch to my Data Banks and Daddy's monies that we had. And that bull certainly can do that. I mean, after I wanted to go to Kansas City, you know how I am. I like to win all three of them if we go out. And Troy didn't want to go to Kansas City, so we didn't. We took him to Louisville, and we took him to, I guess that was the Cattlemen's Congress. No, it wasn't. It was Denver. We took him to Denver, yes. Mm-hmm. And John bought into him out there, and Fox bought into him. And and then Endgame died on me. Went to Troy's sale, and Troy said, hey, go look at Endgame. I went over. I thought he looked great. 2 days later, he was dead. So he ulcerated, had a huge ulcer in his belly. Couldn't have stopped it if we wanted to. So I've been very blessed to have those 3 bulls. And that bull there, I think it's just now getting rode. I mean, first calf crop out of the box, and you got goats heifer that did really well. You've got some bull calves that did good at the Congress. I think there's one right there that can sire them both. He can sire females. He can sire bulls.
Right. Completely agree. I mean, his sire alone, that Zyx 59 in there probably kept me as a breeder away from him, just because we're so covered up in that already. But I tell you, when you start to see some of these offspring, it's amazing how you sit down at your own herd book and things that you can utilize that kind of bull. There's no reason that you can't. High quality and so different for today's time.
Well, and the thing again, cow family. I mean, you got Harmony sitting behind this dude, and that cow was second to none. And Corey Thompson will love this, but I'll give Mark Ray a shout out. That's draft pick. I mean, you got draft pick sitting right there, and there's some punch in that bull right there. I can promise you.
So that his mother, that 58C, what is she?
She's a draft pick out of just an Angus cow, I think.
So she's a draft Angus. Okay, gotcha.
No. 58C told she was an I-80 draft pick.
I-80 draft pick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry.
I think is Endgame's mother, she wins Denver in like 16, 17, somewhere in there?
There was 2 of them. Goat had one and Green Oak had one. So you'd have to ask Troy or Goat that one.
Yeah, I think so.
Sure. I'm pretty sure that's right, Tolle. I think her mother did win Denver.
Yeah, I think she wins Denver. I can't remember the year, but no, without a doubt, another really good cow family, and a really good bull. So, it wasn't too long ago the poll fired up. They had Simmental sweepstakes there in Missouri, and I see Brent Tolle's face standing there with Champion Bull. Tell me about this bull they call Maverick.
Again, just purely blessed. Jeff Bowling called me. CB used to work for Jimmy Mark. Now he works for Jim Bowling Cattle Company up in Indiana. And he'd been trying to get people to come by. He called everybody and nobody dropped by. And I just said, CB's been a good friend forever. He said, Tolle, you'll love him. And I got up there. He didn't tell me what he was. And I walked in the barn and I said, please, God, be a purebred mane, please. And he goes, no, that's a 3/4 Simmental. I just said, I hadn't seen an animal like that really since, I guess he would remind me more of in-game than of any of the bulls I've ever owned. I mean, if you want a semi-bull that's just packed full of meat and muscle, big bone, can get out and move, rip-necked, high neck set, big top, square hipped. I mean, that's that dude right there. I mean, I love the main breed. I was around Chan all my life, and I respect the heck out of that Simmental deal. But Corey will tell you, I'm not a guy to ever be prejudiced towards a breed. If I see one I like that's special, I'm going to try my darndest to get a piece of him. And right. I was blessed that day to get that bull, big share of him bought. I made a couple phone calls. Like I said, we'll talk about my marketing strategy here in a minute, but I thought what better person, Jim Bloomberg, if he was alive, would love this sucker. And I called Blake and I said, you got to get there to see him. And I said, if you see him, you're going to own him. And Blake went up there a couple of days later, called me, and he said, we got to get Jones in on this deal. And I said, that's fine. So we bought 60% of the bull, and Jim Bowling Cattle Company owns the other 40. But that dude right there, if you're in the Simmental business, that's a special one. Right. I promise you that is a must-use situation if you have purebred Simmental cows.
Gotcha. What about bull? I mean, the Simmental deal right now is on fire. There's no way around that. It's on fire. The cattle are very usable. How do you see this bull fitting in with what's working today?
Well, I think all that stuff I said. Number one, cow family. I mean, this dude here. I saw his mother. I would love to own his mother. I haven't been able to get that done. So I'm sure she's going to get higher now that we've won a show with this bull and we're going to take him on the road. That bull right there, if you have purebred Simmental cows, and like we talk in the main, how the percentages work, you can take a purebred and breed to a 3/4, and you got your 7/8, and you got your purebred. So if you want to lessen that Simmental and get more of that Angus mane, belly, and look, there's your ticket right there to bring your Simmental percentage down, but still stay at a purebred level. Everybody talks about it. It's like I told Chan when I bought him, Phillips, that is, because I really respect his opinion and everything. Everybody talks about a 3/4 Simmental bull, and they say that's where we need to be. I'm not a Simmental guy, not. But that's just like in the main deal. We talk about where we have to be to get the percentages right. Well, we're going to see if that's true, because you better come up with one hell of a good excuse not to use that bull if you see him. That's one you need to see. That's the only Simmental bull that ever hit me like that one did was Broker. And that's big for me to say that because Broker, I believe, is untouchable in that breed.
Right.
But in the same way.
See,
no doubt. Well, you touched on a marketing program, Tolle. I think we have the president and CEO of that, or sure, a big intangible of that marketing program. I think we have him backstage, Mr. Tim Schaefer.
Yep.
Hey, guys.
There he is. Gotcha.
Tim, you got a couple of those heifers that Brent discussed there on your sale this week?
Yes, sir. Yep.
Interest been good in those?
I feel like we've rejuvenated the I don't know. We picked it up a little bit. I don't know. It's been a really blessed viewing. I mean, the amount of people that have come through, and two of the highlights have been main and Jew cattle. I mean, there's an awesome set of high mains and maintainer females in this set, but dang sure been showcased by two of those females that my good friend Brent and I have got to work with together. It's been kind of cool. Correlate on, and he touches on it too. Cow families are huge. And you can see it just in those things, but the uniqueness of those two females in this setting, and to watch everybody come through and and just pick between both them heifers. And there's a little bit of good in both of them. There's a lot of good in them, but just the differences they offer. But the elite's a run over word, I guess I should say. But the chances of being elite, those two females have it. And it doesn't matter what breed they are, what color they are. Those cattle are good. And it's been a lot of fun to work on them. And I'm very fortunate to have the opportunity to sell them for him.
Yeah. And I think that's where we're going in this deal, guys. And I know both you are Man-Anjou guys, and it's time. Man-Anjou females, just to give a little record right now, have won Supreme at Ohio. They won Supreme at Cattle Congress last year. Reserve and third overall at Indiana State Fair. Man-Anjou females, Brett Carter, you said it in a board meeting. We've made these things good, and we're not going to go backwards. We've made them good. We're getting them better, and we're going to beat some of these other breeds' asses. And that's just what it is. And those two sitting there at Timmy Schaefer's, and that's part of my marketing deal. You put them in the best hands. My idea of marketing is my philosophy. I've never done anything good in my life by myself. It just, I'm with God if I'm by myself, and I'm with friends that I'm going to put these cattle in the best hands possible so that they can put them in the best hands possible to get them where they need to be, to get across and build this breed to a new level. And I think the Man-Anjou breed in 2022 and 2023 is going to explode like we've never seen it, because they're good. Not because of my cattle, just everybody's breeding them at a higher level right now. And they can play against the semis. They can play against the Angus. They're going to be supreme females out of the Man-Anjou breed. That's impressive.
Right. You know, you visited earlier, Brent, about your marketing strategy, and it's a team focus, as you just talked about, sending these things to these guys, Tim, that can no doubt get it done. And you guys together have been able to get it done in the past at the big stage. And Tim, it's got to be good for you knowing that when Brent calls, you've got good quality cattle that's got some pedigree behind them. And likewise, Brent, it's got to be good for you having a neighbor that does just such a good job with his customer service and the marketing and making sure these things get to see those backdrops. It's kind of a recipe for success for the both of you.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I set and make a list of the guys I want to deal with, and I make it a habit to get around winners. I think winning's important, and winning can be defined in a lot of different ways, but I will never reduce winning to a banner. I can tell you that. Winning to me is being around people like Timmy Schaefer, being around Corey Thompson, being around Brett Carter, being around Gerald Buck, being around the best in the business to become better. I want you to challenge me. I want you to show me a better heifer, because then I'm going to try to make mine better. I'm going to figure it out. I mean, I watched Timmy Schaefer start using Angus on these Simmental and Keys, and I thought, that's the craziest shit I've ever seen in my life. I said, it'll never work. Well, guess what? I was freaking wrong. The first, but I was wrong. And, that's something. Then we came with the Mangus deals. You guys on the board before I got there made the Mangus deal. And I'm just telling you guys, you know it as well as I do, this deal's going to explode. These cattle are good. I've got cattle I just want to throw out there at some other places. Jared Arthur's got some. Josh Streetmatter's got a sale the same week as Timmy's. He's got a great bankroll out of another great cow that I got from Timmy, a full sister to Kelly that I got from Timmy. Good heifer. John Grauer took a couple steers from me. Colin Bolin in Kewanee in Indiana's got a really nice, actually a heifer you'd appreciate, Brett, probably more than anybody. She is an in-game out of a daddy's money back to Unlimited Power sister.
Okay.
Just a stout Uzzy. That's really nice. So I was blessed to have 4 or 5. I will say Jason Bill in Ohio's got a really good maintainer. I've been blessed to be around 5 or 6 really good guys that, hey, I'll just be honest with you, I picked them out. That's who I want to deal with. I think they're that good. I think the cattle are that good, and I think they're going to put them where they need to be.
Good. Tim, you got you guys have a bull that you may put on the road this year. What is his name? OG. Tell us a little bit about this thing here.
Well, Tim showed him
Well,
in Louisville.
Yeah, we got the opportunity to work with Brent on that bull, and we took him on top of our 42 head for Louisville. But
That's that friendship that you lean on, Brent. When you
as much as Brent pushes and pulls, he's normally not wrong. And I hate to say this, but it pains me a little bit. But in his quality of seeing that stuff, he asked for a little help on that bull, and we took it on. Took 43 head to Louisville, and even in the first few days, I mean, that first show out for that bull, just a little time. But I said, Brent will be fine. This thing's gonna be fine. And all of a sudden, that bull responded. A little bit of feed, but you can't talk about all the good cow families always come from. When one's built like that, bred like that, they will respond. And that horse had a nice run out, basically like a derby. I mean, he ran out and looked incredible. We put a good stick on the hands, and it's just the start of what's truly a good animal. We were just doing a little bit of the grinding work there for him. So it's more on Brent on that one and where it's going. But that was a good calf. Gave him a little shot of a showcase. And it's nice because we have had – it's what I tell everybody in my sales. We got full sibs to them. We fed them. You know how they're going to act, and a little bit of presentation. They go out there, and it's amazing what they can do.
Yep.
Right.
Well, and that full sibs that you've got up there, Tim, boy, I seen her out there at Tolles at Junior Nationals time. I still got a video on my phone I look at whenever I'm having a bad day. That's an incredible animal.
Well, you know, the neat thing about that, though, Corey, the neat thing about that is what something Timmy will tell you is, lot 21 at Timmy's is a full sib to the bull.
Yep.
Lot 31 is the end game out of a full mains that full sib to the bull that won Louisville. So that's that cow family. They're all in the same cow family.
All packed in there.
They always said there was a really good line. If it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And then one last deal in terms of your marketing, Tolle. The last deal is your bred heifers. With you're a huge part. Have been one of the initiators of that holiday classic sale.
Yeah.
There in Hillsboro. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, we'll market somewhere around 20 to 25 bred heifers every year at the Holiday Classic with Craig Ryder as the sale manager. That sale's now in Zanesville, Ohio.
Well, Zanesville, yeah.
And I mean, we've been blessed. I think people, when you think of a bred heifer sale, that you got to remember, I don't have a ton of cows. I've got 3 or 4 donors. I utilize ET extensively. I utilize guys like Timmy Schaefer and Brett Carter, as well as yourself, to find me elite females around the country. I do nothing but what I used to do with Taylor. I mean, I buy show heifers, quality females. And Timmy will tell you a couple from him. Actually, one of my top sellers came from him last year. And we breed them and we put them in that sale. We offer our best. We hold nothing back. The only thing that's held back is one that didn't breed, and either she gets her head cut off or we spin her around and say she's good enough to try again. It was our fault. But some of those females that have come out of that sale, firsthand, Corey. I
gave $1,000 for one bred out of there. That was sure one of the better purebred main cows we had at Bushy Park. Another one was Brian Fox buys Mayway All's mother out of there, which is sure one of the top semen producing bulls or semen selling bulls in the main breed right now with Databank. No doubt about it.
Well, we sold Stockbroker's mother. Came out of there. Mariah, I bought from you, and we sold her back through there, and she's had 2 steers win major shows. That group of females every year, I'm so proud when I take them there. As Timmy would tell you, when I'm at his house, we talk about it with those breds. But boy, it's heartbreaking because there's a great one standing there. It's just, will somebody believe me enough and wait on it? Because it's going to happen. Every set of females is going to have one of them. And I remember, I thank you, Corey Thompson, for the year you called me and said, Tolle, what you want? And that was the year Stockbroker's mother sold. Winnie brought $7,500 if I'm not mistaken. And I remember
Yeah.
I was second guessed on that, Carter, that I sent him the wrong one. And she's had what, 3 national champions?
Yeah, I think so. That's 14 years ago because my boy was I was in the hospital. I just had my son was born like the day before that sale, and he's 14. So
yeah. And then Fox called me and said, "Hey, Tolle, I want to buy one of them heifers from you." And I said, "Fine, buy this whiskey." He said, "I don't want a whiskey." I said, "I promise you, I got her from Mac Smith. That one's got a great one in her someday." Well, first calf brings 10, bull calf out of Daddy's money in Denver. And second one was May We All.
maybe
So,
how about it? Huh.
Yeah, there's one every year, and Timmy's got a sale too to promote him. He's got one with Udell. We do it differently. It's just not we had a bunch of leftover calves and we bred them and put them in a sale. I mean, this is the best we could find and that we could afford, and that cow families and that holiday classic, and promote Timmy again. His sale, I think they're second to none. I mean, I think he knows if I'm looking to buy something, I'm usually going through his pins saying, well, can I sneak that one out of here, or what's she going to cost me in that sale?
Yeah.
Right.
So that's part of the partnerships that go on. But
Yep.
It makes
a
it
good
work.
deal. A lot of good cattle. Known you a long time, Tolle. You got a great eye for cattle. You do what you say. Honest program.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. No, there's no doubt. We've got to hear all about it, and it's proven. It's proven time and time again. But I started this off, and I said you are known to make some miles and look at some cattle, but you're also known to be very well respected in terms of your opinion. You've always been honest with me for sure, and the rest of these guys around here I know feel the same. And so good luck to you this fall in your marketing. You just make life so easy on Tim. I don't know why. If he doesn't sell them high, it's not fault. He told us you're just going to make them good. Let's let Tim sell them high. So
yeah,
I'll be honest. And close it. I will say this is we've done it for a lot of years so far, but it's never been as neat as what we got this year rolling. So I to that, even though all the 47 phone calls he's bugged me, it was well worth it. Brent Tolle's done a very, very good. My hat's off to Brent Tolle on this one.
there you go. Good deal. Well, hey, Brent, it was good having you on. It was good talking about your program and listening to the value of a cow family and what it can do for you. So thanks for using us here on the drive, and we'll catch up with you this fall.
Thank you, boys. Appreciate it.